Welcome to another episode, another edition of The Real Deal. I am your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back. Happy holidays. We got 1 week left before Christmas Day. I know everyone is excited for the holidays, being with family and friends and traveling and things like that. So welcome to, like I said, welcome to the holiday edition of The Real Deal. Again, I am your host, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with another episode here. This is, like I said, the holiday edition. We are live on Roku TV, BS3 TV. Check it out there as well. Thank you to everyone that's tuning in on Roku. With Roku, being on Roku, and if you search BS3 TV, the app, on the Roku app, you can download the app on your Roku device or your Roku, the Roku channel, and you get all of our shows, BS3 Network. So super excited to be live on Roku. We're live on Facebook, also live on YouTube, the BS3 Network YouTube channel. And if you want to follow the show, follow The Real Deal at Get the Real Deal on Twitter. Also follow it on Facebook, facebook.com/Get the Real Deal. You can follow me at Courtney 110979 on Twitter. Also follow the show. I mean, we're all over the place. I just say that. Facebook, Instagram, CJ Harden 79 on Instagram, Courtney Harden on Facebook. Also, if you want to just check out the audio version of the show, you could do that on Spreaker, Spotify, Anchor, Google Play, wherever you get Apple, wherever you get podcasts. Just Google it, The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. You will find the show. I mean, we're all over the place. So find it there. Follow me if you want to be a guest on the show as well. I'm always looking for great guests for the show. So hit me up on social media. I'm all active on social media, all over the place. Again, bs3network.com. Shout out to the entire network. We have shows for every genre, everything, everybody. It's not just sports. We have culture. We have shows about culture, about spirituality, again, sports. We also have comedy, movie and TV show reviews as well. Whatever you got, comedy, whatever you have desire to listen to, we have you covered Sunday all the way to Saturday. Each and every day we have live shows. We have, you can check out the channel on the Roku BS3 TV channel as well. So like I said, just hit us up, BS3 Network. You can find all of our shows there. So shout out to the entire BS3 Network. And like I said, we got shows each and every day. So I have a couple of great guests today on this holiday edition, and just waiting for my first guest to jump on. So, but before she gets on, she'll be on very shortly. Just waiting for her to get on here. Let's dive into some of the biggest sport news of the week. We have the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, college basketball. A lot of sports is being hit again with COVID-19, with this new variant, the new variant of COVID, Omicron, that's been just ravaging not just the sports world, it's been ravaging the world, the entire world in general. And again, we got to be safe. We got to continue to be safe, continue to wear our masks, continue to social distance as much as you can. And the ones that are vaccinated, get your vaccine. If you are vaccinated, and if you're not, then just continue to have safe measures and continue to practice safe measures as much as you can, as much as possible, because we are still living in a pandemic. We're still living through a pandemic. It's not just hitting the sports world; it's hitting our world in general, and people are getting COVID again. It's cases are rising, cases are going up in general, and it's we're living through this, and we have to stay safe. We have to continue to keep being safe as much as possible because it's hitting us, and it's hitting the sports world. Because let's talk about the NFL, where now they had to move games again. Now they were trying not to move games once again, but they are, and they have to. And they just moved, I think, 3 games to Monday and Tuesday. I live here in Philly, so the Eagles and Washington football team game got moved to Tuesday evening, and this is what they did last year. They had to have contingency plans. I know they didn't want to, and they wanted to continue. The NFL was trying to continue to keep their schedule because they were supposed to have Saturday games today, but one of those games got moved as well to Monday. But it's hitting teams, and some teams have 20-something cases. I know the Washington football team had over 20 cases of players that contracted COVID. The Cleveland Browns, they have a lot of players and coaches that contracted COVID. So teams have been hit and decimated with this virus, and this virus is still serious, people. So I know we've all have been, kind of just relaxed on it. And, with the holiday season coming up, we have, Thanksgiving last month, Christmas is coming up, New Year's is coming up as well. So we've all relaxed. We're having parties, we're visiting family and friends, and we're excited. But the pandemic and the COVID is still running rampant. It's still running its course. And it's not going away anytime soon. So I just hope everyone stays safe. Everyone take their safety measures, take this serious, because COVID is real. COVID has decimated a lot of people's families and family members. A lot of people have lost loved ones through this virus. So what I say is just as much as possible, just to be safe as you can and practice safety measures and wear your mask and all those things. And we'll get through this. We will get through this because we were getting through it, but it's still there. It's new variants are still coming, and I know that the scientists and the doctors are working on, they're trying to work on to combat this virus. They're working on vaccines. They're working on all these things, but they don't even know. They really don't know. I mean, they know, but they don't really know how to combat this because there's so much levels to this pandemic and to COVID. So, but the football world and the NBA, they've had to cancel games and moving games and everything too, because teams have the Chicago Bulls had 10 plus players that had gotten COVID. And breaking news is that Kevin Durant, now he has it, superstar player, he has it, so now he's being shut down for a little bit. Russell Westbrook, he's being shut down, and all these players and they're vaccinated. A lot of these guys are vaccinated, but they're still getting it. They're still getting this, they're still getting COVID. So it's a real thing. So I just hope that we're able to stay safe and we're getting past this as well. So, but we do have the NFL. We do have football games this week. Many games have gotten moved and it's gotten canceled for this weekend. But we do have games. So I'm gonna go over a couple of these games that like last week and what games I'm looking interesting that interest me going into this week. And let's see, I'm gonna go to, let's start with the one of the main games on the slate that I'm looking into is this. New England tonight. The New England, we do have one game tonight. The New England Patriots at the Indianapolis Colts. New England 9-4, coming off the bye, coming off winning against the Buffalo Bills, dominating them with the run game, going into Indy, who are right in the playoff mix there, right in the top 7 to get into the playoffs. So I'm looking at that game as well tonight. And I think the key for the Patriots is Mac Jones continue to avoid turning the ball over. I think that's against a really good Colts defense who leads the league in takeaways. So that's one thing I think the New England Patriots have to do is limit their turnovers and continue to rookie Mac Jones continue to avoid turning the ball over. as well. So they got to keep that pass. They got to keep the pass rush at bay because the Colts, they blitz. They run a heavy zone scheme as well. So yeah, they got to run the football. Damian Harris is out with an injury. So with their, the Patriots, they still can run the ball with uh, Ramondre Stevenson. So they're going to have to continue to run the football. They're going to have to keep the Colts offense off the field. So running the football is a great equalizer for that. And they got to force, and on the defensive side, they got to force Carson Wentz to turn the ball over. And then, me being a Eagles fan and Carson Wentz, I am a Carson Wentz fan as well. The one thing he could start getting into a habit of trying to make plays, and that's the gift and the curse of Carson Wentz. He can make big plays, but those big plays sometimes turn into big turnovers. So the New England Patriots, who have a really good defense as well, they must try to stop the run because Jonathan Taylor, JT, is the real deal. And if they could do those things and continue to run the football themselves, I think they have to be able to neutralize the running game of the Colts as well. So this could be one of those games, I think, a give and take could be one of those games that who runs the football better and limits the turnovers. I think that's the key. And then for the Colts side of the ball, they got to continue to do what they do best. They run the football, and that sets up the play action for Carson Wentz. And when the Colts are running football effectively with Jonathan Taylor, they can try to run all over the New England Patriots. They could do that. JT is a monster. That sets up Carson Wentz to throw it out the field and throw it out the field to the Michael Pittmans and others. And if he does that and that makes plays, they throw it deep, and that sets up Jonathan Taylor. So that I think this game comes down to running the ball, both sides, New England and the Colts. Whoever can stop either one will probably win the game and limit turnovers. And like I said, Mac Jones, he don't turn the ball over a lot. Let me see. He has only thrown – he's got 8 picks and 16 touchdowns right now. So he's limiting the turnovers because they, like I said, they do have a strong running game. Stevenson and, like I said, Damian Harris is not playing, but Stevenson is a quality replacement. And they ran the football all over the Buffalo Bills last week. They ran 40-something times because of the weather conditions, and that was the game plan. And Buffalo still couldn't stop it. So I do like the Colts in this game. I think they will prevail in this game and do what they do best, run the football and protect Carson Wentz, and he'll make enough plays to he'll definitely make enough plays. I think they squeak this game out, and Jonathan Taylor will be the X factor of this game. So I got the Colts winning this in a close game. In New England, like I said, they're playing definitely in for the best record in the AFC. So shout out to my man Ben Sutter. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, he is the founder and creator of BS3 Radio, BS3 Network. So also check out all his content. Check out all the content of BS3 Radio as well. He says, yeah, JT has been monster. Yeah, JT has been monster. And yeah, if you want, you guys could hit the chat on Facebook, Facebook Live here. Get into the chat, the comments, and as well. Again, we're live on Roku, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live everywhere. So definitely JT has been a monster. Let's get into a couple other these games as well that I got my eyes on. Let's see. You got the Carolina Panthers at the Buffalo Bills. I think Buffalo Bills take care of business there. The one thing I think Carolina has to do, they got to try to run the football with Chuba Hubbard, and if they could do that, but I think Buffalo comes in and just dominates this game. I believe Buffalo's coming off back-to-back losses, so they're right in the playoff mix. So I think Josh Allen, they went toe-to-toe. They came back and almost and gave it a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, against Tom Brady and them. But Josh Allen had to take over. I think what they got to do is kind of get a balance. They haven't run the football effectively at all. So Buffalo's got to get back into, Josh Allen he's having a great year. 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. But I think they take care of business against Carolina. Some other games I got my eyes on always got my eyes on the NFC East. So we got the Cowboys at the Giants. NFC East matchup there. Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites going into this game. I think the keys for the Cowboys is always the same. Run the football effectively. If they can run it with Zeke, Dak Prescott's got to get back into playing the way he was playing early in the year. And, that's being aggressive, limit the turnovers, limit the mistakes, because now Dak has been struggling over these last few weeks, throwing a lot of picks and things like that. But their defense, I think the Cowboys' defense and what they've been doing is putting the pressure on quarterbacks. I believe that's what they have to do effectively and continue to keep doing. Micah Parsons is having an unbelievable year. There's been talks about him being the best defensive player in the league right now. I'm not gonna go that far. He's having a great season, but I think he is definitely one of the best defensive players right now. But I think he is rookie, should be rookie, probably will be rookie of the year. He's making plays all over the field too. He's blitzing, he's playing the pass, and their defense, like I said, the Cowboys' defense is carrying them right now over the last couple of weeks. So once their offense gets back and clicking, because they're too good on offense not to be clicking at the they're too good. They got too many weapons with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and the run game. They think they got to get back to running the football with Zeke. And I don't know is he healthy? I know Pollard was out, or is banged up, but Dak has the weapon. Like, they have the weapons, so they're good on both sides of the football. So Dallas has got to get back into what they do. The Giants, they're going in with I think Mike Glennon is starting this week as well. So the Cowboys shouldn't have any issues with this game, but the Giants, what they got to do is just they got to try to get Saquon Barkley back to what he was, and he hasn't been right since the injuries. I don't know. I don't think the Giants have much of a chance in this game. I think Dallas should win this game and should win it convincingly. But like Ben said, he's a Cowboys fan. He says got the Cowboys, but it's a divisional game. Yeah, right. You just don't know with these divisional games. They're tough. And you just don't know. So, but yeah, I got the Cowboys winning. They should win convincingly in this matchup as well. Some other games I got my eyes on. Oh yes, Steelers and the Titans. Titans are 9-4, one of the best records in the league. The Titans are 2.5 point favorites. 2.5 point favorites there, money line there, and at Pittsburgh. And what Pittsburgh's doing is. This is Big Ben's last year, and I know he's saying that this is his last season with the Steelers, probably. But let's be real. This is your last season, and you guys, they're 6-1. They're hanging by a string to try to make the playoffs. I don't know. I think Big Ben wants to go out with a bang. They're always in games. It seems like each and every week, even when they're down big. I believe they're always in games. I think the key for the Steelers is they cannot let the Titans get a big lead, and they have to find a way to start the game. They got to start the game much faster than what they've done throughout this season. And if they can start the game, and then they can put Tennessee, on their heels, then I think the Steelers got a great chance. But the Steelers got to find an identity. They don't know if they're a running game. They don't know if they're a running team. They don't know if they're a passing team. Because Najee Harris is having a tremendous year running the football, or do they rely on Big Ben to try to win games too? So I think they got to find an identity, and they haven't done that. They haven't done that consistently. Sometimes they're a very good run offense, and other times they rely on Big Ben to make big plays, which he's still capable, but just not as consistent anymore because he definitely looks a shell of himself. Like he's done. Sorry, Steelers fans. I mean, he just doesn't look right. And I think they got to go get back to running the football. I think that's what they have to do to win this matchup. But it's going to be tough to run the football against the Tennessee Titans defensive line, who are 5th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per carry. So this is a big time game for Pittsburgh, and I think with Tennessee, they've been playing pretty well without Derrick Henry. So they have to continue to protect Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill has to continue to make plays and move the football, move this offense, and against this defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are not as great as advertised. Let's be real. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the pass rush is still good, but your teams have been able to move the ball against them. And the LA Chargers, they moved the ball against Pittsburgh. Oh no, Minnesota. Sorry, they played Minnesota last Thursday. They played the Minnesota Vikings, and Minnesota gashed Pittsburgh last week. They really tore them up last week with the run, and so Minnesota was able to run the football. So if Tennessee, with their backs, if they're able to run the football just like that, they got gashed. Dalvin Cook gashed the Pittsburgh Steelers in their offense, or their defense. So it's going to be a close game. I think Tennessee wins this game, but it's going to be very, very close because you never can count out Big Ben. And like I said, even though he's a shell of himself, he's done. I still feel like Tennessee wins this game in a very close game as well. Other games. Oh, before I forget, big news. That I'm just looking at Jacksonville and the Texans play, two bad teams, both 2-11. But the big news was Jacksonville fired their coach. They fired Urban Meyer, and all the things that was going on with Urban Meyer, and all those things, and Urban Meyer, and there was the things of him. He kicked his kicker, and the team knew it. The things that what he was doing at the didn't go back with his team back on the team bus to go back home. He stayed in a city. It was at a bar and dancing with another woman. That was crazy. So and we got a comment here. One of my guests is coming up. Like I said, I'm not sure what happened with Allie Cox here, who's supposed to be on the show. So we'll probably have to just move on. I know she said she has some things going on. But I'll definitely have her back on the show again. But Walter Strong here, shout out to him. He's going to be on the show in about 15 minutes. He said they needed to fire Urban Meyer and the drama that surrounded the team. Yeah, there was a lot of drama on the team here, and with the surrounding Urban Meyer and all those things, because he was just it was probably already a bad hire from the jump, because we already knew what type of drama he brings anyway from the college days, and he lost the locker room. Once a coach loses the locker room and you can't be trusted, then it's over. It's completely over. So they fired him a couple of days ago, and there was so much going on. And now they're saying that they're not even going to pay him his contract. He still had 4 years left on his contract, so that didn't even last 1 full year. So that was totally just a botched hire, and it was bad from the jump. He didn't help develop Trevor Lawrence. Now think of this: Trevor Lawrence was coming into the season, #1 pick, had all the credibility as being the next best, the next great, and Urban Meyer didn't help that. Like I said, once he lost the locker room, the trust, the drama. He's had drama in Ohio State. He had drama in Florida. So now it's just drama with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, but he continues to get jobs. He continues to keep getting hired, because teams that are desperate, programs that are desperate, they see his resume. Yes, he's won at the college level, and you can't knock that. He won in Florida. He won at Ohio State. He brought national championships to both of those schools. And then but his credibility is what's in question all the time. So you knew this going into this hiring him. And then on top of that, I think Jacksonville have all, because if the rumor is that he kicked the kicker, it's one of those things that if you knew this heading into the season and you still kept him on as your leader, as your coach, then that's your fault. That's that's just the debacle of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So in their front office and that team, and I hope the team can turn around. I hope they get a coach now moving forward where they could actually turn things around, because they have been a dumpster fire. So, and you have a generational talent at quarterback, and he has to develop. You haven't helped him develop, and now maybe they're relieved now that Urban Meyer, he was getting all the credit. He was getting everything because of what he is as a coach. So the question now with Urban Meyer, will he be hired again? I know some people in media said he won't. I think he takes a year off. He gets he goes back to broadcasting, college games, and then about 2-3 years, some program will pick him up. That's just the way the full circle has been. So I don't believe that Urban Meyer should get another, because it's just as a drama and everything. And Walter Strong, I love this comment. He brings more drama than TNT cable channel. Yes, he does. He definitely does. So yeah, it was a mess from the jump with Urban Meyer. As soon as he got on, I was like, okay, let's see how long this lasts. And that was big news. And now he's fired, and Jacksonville moves on. So hopefully they can, try to get some momentum and move him around. Jacksonville get some momentum going into, at the end of the year, try to get a winning culture getting into that, and then heading to next year, heading to the draft, heading to next year, getting a coach and all those things. So let's hope to see Jacksonville. So let me break down a couple more of these games, and then I'm going to have my next guest, Walter Strong, will be on the show very, very soon coming on. So I'll break down a couple more of these games that I got my eyes on. Bengals at the Broncos, 2 7-6 teams fighting for the playoffs. In the AFC, you got Cincinnati, who lost last week in overtime to the 49ers, 26-23. The Broncos are coming off a beatdown of Detroit Lions, 38-10 as well. So we'll see how this game plays out. I think Cincinnati goes into they're still in the hunt for the AFC North, because Baltimore has struggled over the last few games. Denver is, like I said, they're desperate in the wild card race as well. Broncos defense is good. I think this will be a low scoring game. So I do have Cincinnati going into Denver and winning in a low scoring game. I think Joe Burrow will make enough plays, and they're going to run the football with Joe Mixon. I think that's what they have to do. Again, another team that's got to run the football, and they have, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins as well. That sets up the play action on that. What else games is that I got my eyes on? Seattle and the Rams, that got moved. That game got moved because of the COVID outbreak. So that game, the Packers at the Ravens. So we just talked about Lamar Jackson. They got to try to get back into their winning ways as well. They lost against Cleveland last week, 24-22. So, and the Packers are 10-3, top of the NFC. With Aaron Rodgers, and he's dealing with that toe injury. So let's see what happens in this game. I think that the key for the Packers in this game is they can beat you in multiple ways. They can run the football, and if Aaron Rodgers is being that bad man himself once again in the MVP conversation, making plays, and just has such command and control of the offense, and he just dissects teams consistently. Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude, man, a bad guy, a bad man, and continues just to keep Green Bay in games. But they're going to have to stop. They're going to have to stop Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson, I know he's banged up. He's questionable, but I think he will play with the ankle injury. And if not, Tyler Huntley ends up starting against a Green Bay team that loves to pressure the quarterback, loves to put heat on the quarterback. So hopefully Lamar Jackson is in there. They the best chance to win. I think the Packers win this game because I think they're just a more consistent team. But if Lamar gets back to playing how he was playing early in the year, was an MVP candidate early in the year, he's got to get back into running. He's got to get back into taking command and limiting those turnovers. I mean, he's turning the ball over at an alarm rate, 13 interceptions right now, and the fumbles, the interceptions, just the turnovers in general. I think that got to get back into being Lamar, like just making plays, throwing the football down the field to his receivers and limit those mistakes. They just got to get back into running the football, and Lamar's got to just take over, and then just not just be more consistent and everything too. But I think Green Bay goes into Baltimore and wins this game. I think they win it. They probably win by at least. I think they win by a touchdown or 10 points. So I got Green Bay winning this game. A couple other games, the Saints at the Bucks. I think the Bucks are 10.5-point favorites. They're again, they're starting just like last season, starting to click at the right time. They have Tom Brady again, being Tom Brady, being the GOAT once again, and with all the plethora of weapons he has, the defense is starting to get back into that Super Bowl caliber defense. And now with Green Bay or Tampa Bay, with Tampa Bay, Tom Brady with the weapons, with Godwin, with Gronk, Mike Evans, and Uncle Leonard Fournette running the football effectively as well. Tom Brady's got so many weapons at his disposal, and the defense, like I said, they get back into their Super Bowl. You can't run on them. That's one thing you cannot do is run on Tampa Bay. You cannot run the football against that team. But, that's what the Saints, that's their weapon. That's their key weapon is running the football with Alvin Kamara, with Taysom Hill at the helm now, who brings such a different dynamic to this offense. But Tampa Bay and that run defense is tough to run on. So that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to extend drives and keep Tampa Bay off the field, keep their offense off the field, Tom Brady and that offense off the field. But Tampa Bay they're starting to roll, and they're making a Super Bowl run. So I think they win this game too. I think they win. It's a divisional game, so you don't know, but I believe they win by a touchdown at the very least. So that's my NFL recap of the week and my predictions and the big games I got my eyes on. So definitely, again, like I said, there's a lot of games that have been moved. So we got football tonight, Sunday, tomorrow, main slate, Monday night and Tuesday, and then the Thursday night game. So you got football almost each and every day. So if you're a football fan, you are in. We as a big football fan, we got football almost each and every day. So we got a big recipe for football each and every day. So can't wait to watch some of these games. My Eagles game, like I said, got pushed back against the Washington football team. Got pushed back into Tuesday. The Eagles are upset. Some of the players, they said that they didn't do anything wrong, but Washington just didn't have enough players. They got 20-some players. You're not gonna forfeit the game. I know that in the beginning of the year they said if non-vaccinated players were the reason for, and we don't know if it was non-vaccinated or vaccinated that was the reason for their outbreak. We just don't know. So I think we have to just the games that are being pushed. I know it does. It hurts teams that have to play Tuesday and then they got to play on Sunday. That really hurts. That really hurts teams. But we still get football, and I just hope everyone can stay safe. So, I'm gonna reach out to my guest. We're gonna try to get my guest on the show, and excited to have him on as well. So until he gets on, let's get into some NBA. And earlier this week, we've been talking about it we talked about it last week, talked about it the last 2 weeks. Steph Curry is now the all-time 3-point leader of all time, greatest shooter of all time. That's just plain and simple. Greatest shooter of all time. He surpassed Ray Allen as the all-time best all-time leader in three-pointers made. Steph Curry, he did it. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. He did it earlier this week. Utmost respect, utmost props for that man, Steph Curry, man. This guy is a monster, the best shooter ever. And now he's trying to extend this record. And what he does on the court and off the court, he's a great ambassador for the league. Kids love him. He revolutionized the game. He's one of those ones that is a trendsetter for the game. with the 3-point shooting as well. So I mean, you can't say so much about Steph Curry and what he represents for the game, for the league, and just like I say, he's a great ambassador for the league as well. So credit and props to Steph Curry for doing that. So all right, I'm excited to have my next guest on the show. My guest on the show, let's get him on right now. Add him to the stream. Walter Strong, what's good, man? Thank you for coming on to the show. Really appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Courtney. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for again for blessing the show. I'm excited to have you on. I was on your show. This was earlier in the year. I think it was earlier in the year.
Right.
We did the podcast roundtable, which was amazing. I know we gotta do something like that again. So
yes,
indeed. So again, I'm glad to get you on the show. Let me give you your proper intro. Walter Strong III, online coach, helps content creators broaden their reach, impact, and income through online video. You might have seen him. You've seen him on YouTube. He has his own YouTube channel. The Huddle. That's a live stream show that's on his YouTube channel that airs every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Which I've been on the show as well. You just bring other YouTube creators as guests to help them encourage content creators to always have clarity, to be consistent with their content, to be confident on the camera. You're also a diehard, sports fan, of course, and devoted father, husband. You do a little of everything. Loves Marvel movies. I mean, we got a lot in common. So, but
yes,
thank you for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. I'm truly honored and humbled, man, to be a part of the real deal, and excited to just be able to add some value. I was kind of watching you. I finished early and I was watching. I said, oh, he's kind of having the same type of show I had. My guest came on late as well. Or I'm like, okay, we got to know how to pivot. And got to learn how to pivot.
Got to. And, we always got to have those plans where you have to, navigate through and everything. So, hey, it's all good. And I know because the guest I was supposed to have on, she's one of my coworkers, so all I gotta do, I'll just reach out to her. I knew she said she had some things she was going to be doing, so I'll just reach out to her. It's all good. So, but like I said, you got to pivot. We got to be professionals about it. We got to pivot and everything too. So, but again, I'm glad to get you on, and so let everyone know a little bit about yourself. I know I read your bio and everything too, but let a little bit know about your show, how you got started, how you started your own YouTube channel, and the Huddle itself.
Oh man, great question. So I started on YouTube, I want to say around 2018, just putting some content up that I just felt like was important to me. And I'm figuring, okay, if it's important to me, it's got to be important to someone else.
Yeah.
Initially started YouTube, just kind of making content to encourage men, and particularly with manhood issues, because sometimes as men, we don't feel comfortable in talking to another brother. And so a lot of my content focused on that, encouraging them to just be great husbands, devoted fathers, and faithful sons. And an interesting thing happened. I started to have more women watching the YouTube show than men. And I'm like, okay, this is good. But at the same time, the audience I'm trying to reach, it's not connecting. And what I learned is, as men, we just may not be comfortable with social media. I think social media, from a standpoint without sports, we as men may not necessarily connect with it. So to have a manhood type YouTube channel it's important to me, but it was like, nah. So I had to pivot and say, okay, I'll continue to make the content to encourage women who have husbands that are silent in their hearts and in their heads, when they keep giving these nonverbal responses, but I'm searching. And so after the pandemic, I really began to use the Huddle to be a live stream show, just to bring on other men. I tried from that approach because the Huddle kind of speaks more to football, because we watch 11 men in a huddle every game on the offensive and defensive side. We watch 53 men on each team huddle before the game.
Yep.
And so I said, okay, let's try that approach. And that was working for a while, but what I understood about YouTube, you have to be able to find your right audience, and you have to be able to put content that people connect with. And so the huddle just began to go through a series of pivots and adjustments, where we went from talking to men to encouraging men and women about finding their passion and purpose, towards the end of 2020, where we said, okay, we're going to just make this more towards YouTube and content creators who have a passion and purpose on online. And so we've really niched down to just make content that helps individuals broaden their reach, impact, and income through online video. Whether if you're on YouTube or Facebook with Facebook Live, we all want to broaden our reach as content creators. We all want to be able to have an impact through the content we share with our audience, and we want to be able to make income from this, because the content economy has exploded this year and going forward.
Yeah, I love it, and I knew your story because, like I said, being on your channel and on your show, we had that roundtable podcast, which I thought was tremendous. And we had a lot of content creators, a lot of podcast, the who's in the podcast space. Some of the ones aiming on the BS3 network, Ben Sutter, Al High, who just jumped on the show. Thank you for tuning in. He said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in." He has his own show as well. And we had that was a great conversation, because, as you said, as content creators, we're trying to get into the space and put a niche in the space where we can, we have the platforms now. There's so much going on. And you're right. The content creating, you see it on Instagram, you see it on YouTube, you see it on Facebook. You see it all over. Live streaming has exploded. Sports betting content has definitely exploded. That's been huge, especially this last year. It's been huge. So I love what you do, because, like you said, you bring a lot of different guests in the mission that you are portraying, or that you're putting out there. You're helping YouTube creators and trying to build them. So I definitely commend you for doing that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you said the huddle. Talk about a little bit about the huddle in itself and its content. Like I said, a big fan of it. Listen to it all the time and everything. So talk about that show. And I know you had a show earlier today as well.
Definitely. So we one of the things that I've learned in this early journey of YouTube, you will see other live stream shows where other YouTubers will come on. They may be more established, where they have maybe over 50 to 100,000 subscribers. And so they're speaking to individuals that are first starting out, they're beginning. And I think that's a great thing. And one of the things that I begin to ask is, okay, I see this for established YouTubers coming together and sharing tips and strategies, but where is that for the up and coming or small content creator? So I don't want to just narrow this just to YouTube, because you can probably see a lot of sports shows that are now doing live streaming on Facebook as well. But you say, well, where is the platform for the up and coming, the smaller content creator growing? And so I made a commitment to say, okay, as we pivot with the huddle, because keeping with the core concept of what I understand the huddle is, when you look at football for a minute, or basketball, when you see 12 men in basketball huddle, they are in that huddle. Though it looks entertaining to me and you when we see them dance back and forth and they're all excited for the game, they're reminding one another of their identity, of who they are as a team. They're reminding themselves of what their mission is. They're reminding themselves of what their goal is for that night or that day before tip-off hits. And you see that in sports. And I said, okay, I need to create that in the content creation field. And so we bring on fellow other YouTubers that may be established or that are up and coming, similar to the one that I had this morning, who has a YouTube cooking channel. Not a lot of people know about him, because sometimes obscurity can be our greatest enemy in us not getting the notoriety. So we use the platform to bring other content creators on, share their tips and their strategies that's making them successful. What are the pain points that they're having? Because sometimes we need that ability to be able to communicate with one another and allow the audience to kind of watch as we discuss this and interact at the same time. And so we've been fortunate not only to have smaller up and coming YouTubers, but I've been fortunate to have Benji Travis from YouTube video influencers, which is a very established channel of over 100,000 subscribers, over 1 million viewers. And he's the co-author of YouTube Secrets with Sean Cannell, who has Think Media and has a large conference and following with Grow a Video too. So to have someone like his caliber to say, I want to come on the show, I see what you're doing, you're consistent with it, I see the growth, though it's small, but I'm willing to get on the train and enjoy the journey as you go on, and give you the challenge to say, when you get to a certain level on your channel, I want to bring you on so I can tell your story. And to so have individuals like him come on, Dan Courier from Creative Fundamentals. It's been an interesting 2021 experience in the huddle, now going in this new direction.
Definitely. I like what you said. You give people chances, even if they have 10,000 to 50,000 followers on YouTube, or the ones that are just starting up. And you're giving, and the one thing I like about, there's a lot of things I like about the show, but the one thing I do like about the show, one of the main things, as you said, you're giving people a platform to share their story, to share their YouTube channel, or just to be able to have a platform where, then they can say, okay, if he's on, if he or she are on your show, then, I can follow them. And you're given an opportunity again to share their story. You said one that has a cooking channel, which I think is excellent. So it's not just sports; it's a lot of different avenues of content creating, of different genres of things that they are excited about. And now, if they click on your channel and they see that guest was on, they could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna check them out." Then I'm gonna check everything else that who they're following too. And I think I try to do the same thing. I have a variety of different people, from media to business to I've had food bloggers on the show, and people that are kickboxing instructors. And like, I had a kickboxing instructor a couple weeks ago that I go do kickboxing, CKO kickboxing here in South Philly. I had her on to tell her story, and she was nervous about it at first. She was like, "Well, I'm not very interested." I was like, "I find interest in you because you're a kickboxing instructor. You've done things like that." So now she's been on other podcasts, right after my podcast. So just like anything that's interesting, who's interesting, who has a story, who wants to share it, I think is wonderful that me, you, and a lot of other people to share their story. Now her following is blowing up now. I'm not saying I'm the main point of that. I'm not saying that, trying to take credit for that, but it's just more of, she thanks me and says, "I'm glad I got on your show because I wanted to get my story out. I want to teach these type of different things that I do, not just being a kickboxing instructor, but just being for a health advocate, or help someone out that has so low self-esteem and wants to get into exercise, things like that." And I think that's what we both kind of do, is try to help these content creators, and they help us to build our brand as well.
Oh yeah, because you're investing in their future.
Yes, exactly.
You're investing in their future, and it's a long-term game. It is, because in content creation as well as YouTube, it's not a sprint as much as we would like for it to be. Use the analogy of a former Olympic gold medal, Michael Johnson, who would win the 200 and 400 and would go his gold slippers. We would like to have that, but that's not the type of race we run. We run a marathon. Yes. And so it's a long-term investment game that you can look back at that young lady 3-5 years from now and you have the footage, and to see now she's now on a local television station that may be equivalent to Good Morning America on a national level. But you have the footage to say, "I remember when you first came on to me."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples. Like there's been examples of, for both of us and others, that we reach out to a lot of these content creators, or whatever, like I said, whatever genre they're in, news, sports, cooking, whatever it is, and they like I said, we invested in them, and we're excited to have them on the show. So I reach out, like I said, I reach out to so many people, and you will get no's. And this was part of our podcast thing that we did. You will get some no's. You will get that. I mean, that's just inevitable. It's like you're gonna get no's, but it depends on how you take that. You could be like, okay, I give up. I don't want to do this because I'm getting too many no's. Or you build your resume, and you reach out to others, and you continue to keep grinding. You continue to keep reaching out to a lot of these guests, and eventually you will get a following. Eventually you will build that, and now boom, now you've had 10, 15, 20 guests, and others now have been invested. They want to jump onto your show, and that's where you build your following.
Oh, totally agree. You got to cut your teeth. I learned with just family and friends.
Yes.
Cut your teeth with family and friends. And I'll just share with you real quick. When I met and had the opportunity to have Benji Travis on from Video Influencers and, of YouTube Secrets, he said something that a family member had said to me over a year ago. I kind of blew the family member off because I kind of thought they were just stroking my ego, because the person said to me, "Where did you go to college and what did you major in?" And I said, "Well, I went in business administration. I just got an associate's degree." He said, "You missed the boat." He says, "Not too late for you, but you missed the boat. You should have been doing journalism and communication." I heard that and I said, "Okay, that's nice." Which I'm quite, one of the things you asked me about, one of the things you want to talk about, how I got into sports media. Yeah. I heard that. Well, Benji ended up saying the same thing, but because of who Benji is and because of his accomplishments of what his YouTube channel has accomplished, it was like, oh snap, a light bulb came on. I said, this is something I can do.
Right.
This is something I can do to add value. So you got to cut your teeth with family and friends, and the rest will come together over time.
Exactly. I agree with that. And like I said, I think we're going to have to definitely do another podcast roundtable. Me, you, Ben, Al, and others. Like, we just need to jump on and we'll do, like you said, an extensive, because like I said, there's so much value, so much nuggets that we could definitely present and bounce ideas off of each other, which I love the sports media community. I love how in the podcast community of the ones that we come together, and because we're in this game, we're in this. It's almost like we're in this together, and we're trying to build. Like, I don't knock anybody, however they do their platform, how they do their podcast, and that's what they do. And I love to see everyone win. And I think that's one thing that we have in common, that we love to see others just shine and win, and and have their story shared.
Definitely.
So you like I said, you're in the media space now, and you cover a lot of different variety of sports and in general too. What do you look for? I know you do content creating and YouTube. When you look at guests, what do you look for when you are booking your guests, and how do you book your guests?
That's a great question, and that is something that I'm really trying to perfect. I've been good at doing in 2021. Now 2022 is about perfecting this. Okay. What I've established, and that is when you look to bring on a guest, I think it's important to build. Though we're living in this pandemic and we can't be face to face, build a good online relationship with someone first. If you want to bring, let's use Ben Sutter III for BS3 Network. When I first met him, I met him through another person, and so what I begin to do is begin to build an online relationship. We connected on Facebook. We connected one another on LinkedIn. That was another thing that I felt was important, because LinkedIn is more of a different type of social media tool from a professional standpoint. So it gives me an insight to who he is from a professional standpoint. Right. Once I build enough of a relationship, the next step was, okay, I see Ben has a show. Let me start participating, being active in the show. Yeah. We'll use him as the example. And then I met you through Ben. Yeah. And start watching your show. And so as I begin to put these pieces in place, build a relationship, watch the show, become active, then now the individual knows who I am, and now they feel comfortable to say, okay, this person wants me to come on as a guest. I know who they are. I've did my research. Also, third, I've did my research on them, because they have to be able to be someone that fits my niche and audience and the goal of my channel. And then the fourth thing was, how can I add value to you? Even though you're coming on my show as a guest, my number one goal is, how can I make you feel welcome, wanted, and needed by more people? And if I can accomplish those four things, you're the right type of guest that I need to have on.
I like that. I really do. And it's interesting because I get a lot of people that ask me, well, how do you get so many guests? Like, what do you do? And that's some of the questions that we I'm sure you get asked that same thing. And we all have our different methods and different ways of how we book guests. Now, I've had a lot of people, they look and say, you get such a variety of guests. You have guests at least 2 or 3 times guests, each week. And I said, look, it's the same thing. I said, look, sometimes I'll connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. So I just get their email. I think that's a missing element. Emailing is still a great way to reach out to people, and because others don't, because we get into, you go to somebody's DM and on Instagram or Facebook, and some of the guys, they'll say like, I missed your DM because I get a lot of different weirdos that come into my DM, and I totally get it. I said that, it's like, I don't. They say they don't answer the DM, but here's my email. I said, okay, that's even more. That's just more formal. I said, cool. I can just go in and get into the email. Now I can really dive into, okay, this is what the show's about. This is what we'll talk about. I just want to have a conversation, and how does that benefit? And they'll jump on and say, yes, let's do it. Let's set up a time. Here we go. And next thing you know, I have the guests on the show. We just find the right time to do it. What type of platform you want to do? You want to do a Zoom? You want to do it on Facebook Live? You want to do it on Instagram Live? I'm down with it. However, just making you comfortable. So I definitely do almost that same type of way of how to get guests. And like you said, you're going to get some no's, but you can still be persistent. I think that's another key as well.
Right. And I think it's timing. And I've come to understand, by having that framework in place, the no's become more apparent because of timing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because of scheduling. However, in the past, when I was initially getting my no's, I was getting because I had no online relationship with you.
Yeah.
I was getting the no's because I may have watched your content, but I didn't subscribe to your content. So you didn't really know who I was in terms of a person, or am I just another one of those who creeps in the DM? I don't want to use creep. That's the wrong word. Am I one of those individuals who are DMing you like everyone else, and you can't determine between the legitimate ones and the ones who just want attention for their own purposes?
Yeah, right.
Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So no on relationship, no connection to your content. 3, there's no social media contact outside. Everything's outside of that framework. And so when individuals would say no to me, I would say, okay, this is the reason why. And then someone had said, and Benji Travis from YouTube Secrets, he did this to me. He's a guest, but he did this to me as the host. He said, we need to do a discovery call. I need the day before we come on the show so I can get to know you, get to know about your show, who your audience is, who their demographics are, what their likes, their interests, are they entrepreneurs? He did like a full deep dive as if I'm getting ready to be on CNN. And I thanked him for it. I said, this is something I need. And I appreciate you doing this for me. And so I try to do it. When I don't, the shows, it's not that the shows are not successful. They don't perform at the level of the expectation that I need them to be, because I didn't do the discovery calls.
Yeah. And I've had a couple of those before too. I've had, there was one I had, and we were talking, as she said, let's do a Zoom call first before, and she said, it's nothing. She said, I just want to get to know you, and then you're going to get to know me. Let's do that before we jump in. She said, 'cause I follow your work and you follow my work. but let's just get this almost like a personal call, like among friends. She said, I was like, I'm cool with that. I have no issue if it takes that for me to get you on the show, so for you to feel comfortable. Let's do it. Let's see how that call goes, and we can set up a time. So we did the call. I think we did it on Zoom, and we did a call, and then we were just chatting, and we were chatting like we knew each other from back in the day. And because I told her, I said, this is how the show is going to be. I'm not gonna interview you as just as a guest. It's not like some form. It's not gonna be like that type of interview. It's gonna be a conversation, and that's what I try to do with the show. A casual conversation. I'm gonna ask you questions about how you got started, because I'm interested in that and your story. But we're gonna get into a lot of different other things where we might have some stuff in common, and we're gonna get involved in that. And then she was like, I'm definitely down. So I think you're right. I think those calls before definitely sometimes help and makes the guests even more comfortable.
Definitely.
I agree. So, all right. So I wanted to get into a couple of sports topics before I let you go, man. I mean, I really appreciate this time and everything. Another thing you said on your bio, which I didn't know, I already knew, but you're a big Marvel fan. So I want to get it. Let's get into this first. Have you seen Spider-Man yet?
Not yet. We're making plans to see it Monday night on my daughter's birthday.
Okay, all
so
right.
I am trying my best to stay away from social media videos.
Oh my goodness!
Any type of reactions, any type of spoiler reviews. It is going to be a tough 48 to 72 hours. But other than that, I've been a Marvel fan since 2008. Since that day that Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury walked into Tony Stark's living room, and he says, and so you call yourself Iron Man, and let him know that the Marvel universe was bigger than what he thought it was. And so I've been following it since 2008 when we went to go see our first Avengers movie together as a family. My family thought I was a fanatic, and I dressed up as Nick Fury. With my eye patch, with my head shaved, and my black suit. And all the kids were running up to me in the movie saying, "It's Nick Fury, it's Nick Fury." My wife and daughter said, "We are going to the other side of the theater. We want nothing to do with you. Get away from us. You're a weirdo." But now they are just as into Marvel as I am. Years later. And so because I think my daughter's friends, they started talking Marvel, so she was like, I need to hook up with my dad so he can educate me on how to be able to be an expert in Marvel. But I love me some Marvel fans. My top 3 Marvel movies: Black Panther is 3, Endgame is 2, which is probably Black Panther and Endgame are the only 2 movies that ever brought tears to my eyes during the movies. But Captain America: Winter Soldier is my number 1.
We got just about the most. We have the most similar top movies of that one. That's like almost the same exact ones. My top 3, as you probably see, I post a lot about Marvel. I've had Marvel conversations on the show with other kind of creators, and we get in. I'm deep into it because I used to collect the comic books as a kid, and then when they made it into the movies, that was like, okay, this is definitely I'm all in. So I did see Spiderman. So I won't spoil it for you. I'm not one of those ones that will spoil it for you at all. Saw it last night with my wife and a couple of friends. We jumped in and saw late last night, late evening, 11 o'clock. So we got the tickets and all that. So, but my 3 favorites in order is Endgame. I think that's from top to bottom, the best movie they've done all together. Infinity Wars 2, and then Winter Soldier. Captain America: Winter Soldier is 3. I think that's the best standalone solo movie. Black Panther's up there. It's in the top 5 for me. And Black Panther. I think I've always the first Avengers: Civil War. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Sure.
I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna spoil Spider-Man for you at all and to tell you anything about that. So I won't even list it in any of my top yet. But we'll talk about that after a while. But big Marvel fan. Like I said, when I go in, I had the Spider-Man hoodie on yesterday.
Yeah, I saw your post. I was like, look at this man.
Yeah. And I go in with the Spider-Man. I had the Avenger T-shirts when they came out. Captain America. We go all in too. So Black Panther T-shirt, I had that on, and I'm looking forward to seeing because because I'm all caught up on everything. I'm looking forward to see how this next phase gets into, phase 4, phase 5 now with all the things that are going on. I want to see how they do it. But Marvel doesn't fail, man. They continue to put out good content just about every single time.
Yeah, and I'm hoping with this whole multiverse, as a fan, and I know it's not something that's probably going to happen. I want to see a way of them bringing back the old Avengers back. From a comic book standpoint, if you remember, there was a changing of the guards of the old Avengers to the new Avengers.
The new Avengers, yep.
So you saw that in the comics, and to kill off Tony Stark in Endgame, to have Cap now just kind of fall off the face of the Marvel thing, and now he's become old man Cap. To me, there was no true passing of old Avenger to new Avenger. There was no true passing of old Avenger to young Avengers.
Yeah.
Because if you a person who remembers the animated movies, I think next to Thanos, the second threat to the Avengers has always been Ultron. And in the Ultron story, Ultron ultimately kills off the Avengers.
Yeah.
And as a result of him killing them off, they end up, before them dying, end up having children, the young Avengers. And I think the only ones that survive is Tony, Banner as Hulk, as old man Hulk, and Vision's head. Because a head of Vision. And it's a great animated story, just a lot of people don't remember it.
Yeah.
And right. I wanted to see Marvel do something like that, where you pass old Avenger to new, or old to young. And so I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm hoping the multiverse will open up the possibilities for that, maybe. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm not sure like how much you're watching the Disney Plus shows with Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki and now Hawkeye, and there's been talks of them moving towards the young Avengers. They just don't know, okay, where are we going? Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, and I know the Thor story now, that could be a passing of the torch with Jane Foster. So you have that. Like, I don't know, like, where they're building, because you still do have some Avengers of maybe not, because Hulk is still, like, say, he's still around, Banner's still around, Hawkeye's still around. I know they killed off Black Widow, so I said there's another one, and Iron Man is killed off, but Cap there's been rumors that he's in space, maybe he's with Fury somewhere with the Skrulls, and you got Captain Marvel, all that. So there's so much happening, which I'm loving, because there's so much possibility. So with the multiverse and all these things, so there's so much going on. Like I said, I love Marvel, so I can definitely get it. We can get so much deep into that. It's crazy. So, but let me ask you, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you about some of the big news I could say just overall NFL, NBA. Now there's news that Kyrie Irving, he's in COVID protocol. That was just breaking news. He was just getting ready to come and play part-time for the Brooklyn Nets. He's still unvaccinated, but now he's got COVID. Now he's got to get into the protocols. Kevin Durant, COVID protocol, but COVID is just running rampant, and now we had games that are being moved in the NFL. What's your overall take on the big news of this COVID and the pandemic just still wrecking not just sports but the world in general?
Sure, I'll tackle the COVID one first. For a lack of a better word, the shot heard around the world, the game that we saw when Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert tested positive, that ripple effect of canceling that game, to seeing the NCAA tournament being canceled, to seeing the domino of other sporting organizations cancel their events, to travel, entertainment, finances, everything shutting down. As a country, and I'll tie this to sports, we don't want to go back there. However, when you look at the recent tip in positive cases, we are slowly trending towards there. Not slowly. we are fastly approaching that. Just to call it for what it is. We are fastly approaching that trend again. And if we don't do something as a society, sports is just a microcosm. What's going to happen is they're going to have to stop. That stop, which means maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks, but you're going to have to do something to stop the spread. And if they don't, it's just going to get out of control. You see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL, and in probably some other sports that we don't really cover as much as well. You don't hear anything about wrestling, the
Right.
WWE. So if it's happening in the other places, it's happening in probably with them as well, because they're in close contact with one another. So that's that. Then the Kyrie thing, and we're gonna talk about this on Sports Talk on Sunday. Normally we do it on Monday at 7 p.m. But because of my daughter's birthday, she wants to see Spiderman, so we got to do a special edition, Sunday edition of Sports Talk. And my opening thing was gonna be he's back. And is it when I say he's back, not just Kyrie but Clay, but Kyrie being back from a standpoint, he's going to have a greater impact on the Nets from a negative standpoint, not on his performance aspect. For him to turn around and say he wants to come back into play, him to catch COVID, this is not the first time for him.
This
is the second time.
Yep.
And so I think he is sending a message to the Nets that they're so desperate to win a championship that they're being blind and ignorant to. And it's ultimately going to catch them in the playoffs.
Yep.
It's going to catch them. And so though I'm excited for him to be back, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because if you're really serious about coming back to play, you would have gotten vaccinated. If you were serious about winning a championship, you would have gotten vaccinated. And so that's just my thing on Kyrie. As good as of a talent he is, he has too much of a track record that shows sports fans and people in sports that when it really counts and matters the most, I don't know if you remember Bill Romanowski. From the Oakland Raiders. Super Bowl. I had never really followed him as a player other than Oakland and Denver, but I never knew that he was the type of person that dealt with mental health issues.
Back then.
And that was not something that was talked about. And my point is, when the spotlight got the greatest, that's when that issue arose. And to me, Kyrie Irving reminds me of him. When the spotlight gets the greatest, that spotlight reveals an issue that he's been hiding and not getting help for.
Right. And that's the thing. It's with Kyrie, and when the news came out, he was coming back, and I was like, okay. And they said he's gonna just be playing on the road games. I'm like, all right, that was the issue. That was one of the issues in the beginning. The Nets did not want him as a part-time player. They said you're either in or you're out. You're all in or you're all out. And, with New York being one of the biggest, for cases of COVID, one of the biggest states for cases of COVID, he couldn't play. Like, they were like, no, you got to get vaccinated. If you want to play, you got to be vaccinated. Okay. If you're unvaccinated, that's a choice. That's what you do. Okay. We know where you stand. But with Kyrie, I think for me, it's going to mess up the chemistry, because it's definitely going to mess up the chemistry, because if he's only going to be there for road games and play for road games, how much does that affect? Because he's in the lineup for these certain amount of games, but then he's out for these certain amount of games. That's going to definitely wreck the coaching.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to definitely wreck the chemistry. But you said the Nets are so desperate because Kevin Durant's playing so many minutes. James Harden's not being as consistent as we could think he should be, what he was as a superstar player. And, their team they're still winning games, but it's almost like, okay, we still need Kyrie. I still feel like they need Kyrie to win the championship, but it's the reliability of Kyrie, his availability. They say the best ability is your availability, and you can't count on Kyrie. It just can't be trusted. It's just not the fact that, he's saying, okay, I'm not going to play because I'm unvaccinated. It's other things, as you said. It's Could be mental issues. It could be he feels a certain way about being. He wants to be, protesting and things like that. And I commend him for all those things he wants to do outside of the game. But it's like you still have a job to do too. I know other things are bigger than basketball, of course. The world issues is bigger than basketball. But if you have a job to do, they like me and you, we have a job to do. They want us there. You got to work, and then you have to work. So Kyrie, you can't be. To me, it just can't be a part-time, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Yes, you have a platform for the social injustice and things like that, which is, like I said, much bigger than basketball. But you could use that, but you still have a job to do. So if you're being paid, you gotta be there. And I think his reliability is always in question. So as you said, when things get tough or things get okay, can we rely on you in crunch time? Can we rely on you when playoff time hits? Because Kevin Durant and James Harden are going to be there. They need their partner in crime. They need him to be there with him. And like I said, superstar talent. But I trust Clay definitely more than I trust Kyrie Irving, because Clay's going to be there and Clay's going to show up, and looking forward to him coming back too. But it just in general, the COVID I talked about it earlier, it's wrecking teams, it's wrecking the world still. And I say it all the time, we're still living in a pandemic. We still have to take this serious, and it could be a stoppage. It could, like you said, it is trending to another stoppage in almost every sport, and because games are getting canceled, teams are shutting down. Chicago Bulls just had 10 plus players. They had to go through the COVID protocols, and the Washington football team, 20 something players. And now they had to move that game. As an Eagles fan, they had to move that game until Tuesday. So, they started trending to that direction.
Definitely. So
much money involved, and that's what it is. At the end of the day, that's what the leagues, they care about, that money and viewership. So they're going to do whatever it takes, but they might have to. They said they might have to shut down. And I know we don't want to see it as sports fans, but safety is first.
Right. And having a stoppage, I'm not saying you go 2-3 months, but maybe you have a stoppage from a COVID standpoint of, okay, you're supposed to be isolated and away from people for 14 days. Okay, is that terrible that you may have to stop for 2 weeks? No, but it gives you an opportunity to get people healthy, to stop the spread, to further in. I don't know, we're talking sports, but it's going hand in hand now about vaccinations. And then when you come back, when it comes time for playoffs, you may have to kind of look at what the NBA and the NHL had did from a bubble standpoint to say, okay, in light of how this is ravaging and devastating players, we may need to go to a bubble format, and that's okay, and approach it from that standpoint. The trade-off is, okay, if you go from a bubble standpoint, then what about your fans in your arenas? But we're living in unprecedented and we're living in times that just, I don't want to sound like Porky the Pig from Looney Tunes, but
yeah, I get it. Unprecedented times,
but we're living in times that you may have to kind of just adjust and say, as fans, right now, you being in an arena of fans right now may not even be best for you, because if this is happening to the players, you look at, I think I looked at New York's infection rate about 2-3 weeks ago. We were at 6.5. Well, I looked up this past week, we're at 8.5%, because I'm looking at, because of some things that my daughter wanted to do for her birthday on Monday, and what she was planning out. And I said, okay, as long as the infection rate doesn't get up to this point, I'm fine with you having these many guests, but they're going to have to be vaccinated. They're going to have cards. But I'm thinking, okay, the infection rate will probably be at 7.25. We're at 8.5% now.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to our birthday. I'm saying, well, wait a minute. What is it going to be when December 20th hits?
Right. You just don't know. And so shout out to Mike Patton. Thanks for tuning in as well. Yeah, we are living in unprecedented times. Yes, we are. It's all about just continuing to just do the best you can, and safety, and social distancing, all those things that we just have to continue to take it more seriously and continue just to, as you said, with fans. I know we love our sports. We love to be there and we love to see fans in the stands, but we are living in unprecedented times and we have to look at that first from that scope before anything else, because, yes, we're still going to have sports. They just have to have those other plan Bs and plan Cs. And, the sports, they do have that. These companies have that, but they don't want to go to there, but you might have to go there. And the NFL, they always try to be at their own drum. And I think that's the one thing. The NFL always try to be at their, they move it there to be at their own drum. Like, they're like, oh, we're going to stick our chest out. We're going to be the big bad NFL. But now you got to move games because, player safety. You got. They say they care about player safety. Let's see it then. Let's see it. The NBA, the NHL, and others, like said, pro wrestling and the UFC. They've been ravaged with. I mean, Dana White I remember at one point he was trying to continue like this doesn't exist and everything too. We need to, now he's taking it seriously because he just had COVID. I think like a month ago or a couple weeks ago. So, the president of the UFC, he has to go into that. And I like that Mike Patton says here, had a friend studied in a comparison to Spanish flu in 1918. There was a documentary out from the survivor of that time, said things weren't normal or close to normal until maybe 4 years later. Yeah, we're living into that. Like, yes. Because I was saying, I'm not a scientist, not a doctor, and that's who you listen to. But I always tell, me and my wife talk about this all the time. I always tell her, it's like, they don't even know. They don't know how to combat this because they don't really know what this is, what COVID really is. Right. So they're trying their best. They're into the lab. They're trying to find vaccines and they're trying to find all these different things that happening. But there's all these other Omicron. There's all these things. All these variants are coming up. This is new territory for them. So they're learning just like how we're trying to learn how to combat this. So yeah, it's not going away. Unfortunately, it's not going away, and we just have to try to stay safe. And I hope everyone does continue to stay as safe as possible. So definitely. So, man, Walter, this has been again a great conversation. I really enjoyed having you on the show, man. Thank you again for coming on. I've always wanted to get you back. I wanted to get you on to return that favor to you as well. I said this has got to be the time that we have. So, again, thank you for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it. And let everyone know where they can follow you and your content and all these things as well.
Hey, I appreciate this. So primarily our main channel is YouTube. You can basically follow me at Walter Strong III. That's 3 I's instead of 3RD, 3 I's. You can find me Walter Strong III, or you can just type in the Huddle with Walter Strong III, and you'll find our YouTube channel again, where we're going to help you broaden your reach, impact, and income through online video. Also on Twitter, the Huddle with Walter Strong III, Instagram, Walter Strong III, Facebook, the Huddle with Walter Strong III. And so we're excited right now. You're getting a first look that we showed on the show, which is the first hoodie merchandise that we're going to be releasing in 2022. I got the inspiration from your mic. I said, okay, we're going to take the mic that the Real Deal has, plus the Huddle logo, and put the two together. And so now we have our first prototype of our merchandise going out in 2022. And so we're excited, and we're working on an online course on the power of collaboration to release that the first quarter in 2022 as well.
Looking forward to all of that, man. And like I said, best of luck, many blessings to you. Happy holidays to you and your family. Happy birthday to your daughter as well, man. And again, gonna reach out. We got to collab again, and we're gonna have like a bunch of us, content creators and podcasters, and we're gonna do that round table again.
Definitely.
I think we got to do this again, and we'll get a few other people involved, and just to give out some advice or just whatever. Anybody have any questions? And we're more than just want to continue to build, to grow with others, and whatever we can help out. I think it'll be an excellent thing to do. And I know you're down. I'm down. I know Ben will be down, and other content creators and YouTubers and podcasters will be down with that as well. So,
all right.
All right, man. Thanks again. I really appreciate you, man. And again, many blessings, best of luck, and happy New Year and happy holidays to you as well.
All right. All the best to you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. God bless.
Yep. You too. God bless. All right. That was Walter Strong on the Huddle live stream YouTube channel, online coach. Thanks to him coming onto the show. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the ones that was in the comments in the chat. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off to enjoy the holidays with family. So you're gonna see me a couple more times next week. No Saturday show this week as well. Shout out to Mike Patton that was in the chat. Also to Nathan Ramasandra, the NR Hour. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we also had, Walter Strong in the comments, BS3, Ben Sutter as well. Continue to follow the BS3 network. Bigger and better things come up in 2022. Like I said, I'll be off for the next 2 weeks. We'll be back in bigger, better than ever in 2022. So I hope everyone has a safe Christmas, holiday, New Year. You can, like I said, follow the shows on all social media, all podcast platforms, Google. Just Google The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. You'll find it. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere you get podcast streaming. You can follow it, and Roku, BS3 TV, Roku TV. That's where we are. That's the channel. You can find us there. BS3network.com, BS3 Network. Hit us up. Follow all the content from BS3 Network. Again, thank you everyone that tuned in. Stay safe. Happy New Year. Happy holiday. Merry Christmas. Peace. God bless.